Hello, guys. This is Coach Paul here, back with another Chalk Talk. Hey, so today's topic, we talked about this last year, and but I think it's happening more and more today. The topic we're going to discuss is, youth tackle football tournaments. At first, I thought it was something like 7-on-7 football, pylon style, where it's not as physical, but I've learned that these are tackle football games or tournaments, where it's either a 2 to 3 day period of tournament play, as if you were in a flag football or basketball or 7-on-7 pylon style tournament, where you literally are playing. It could be 4 to 6 games in overall 2 to 3 days. So you're playing not just one game a day, possibly 2 games a day. I don't know if someone play 3 games a day, but to me, even if you're playing consecutive, Friday one game, Saturday one game, Sunday one game, that's still a lot for a body, somebody's physical body, to take, even for a child. And they might not see it because they're children and they're energetic, and they're not as injury prone as a college athlete or an NFL athlete, but they still are. Things are happening. So my number one question, and I talked about this before, is you got to ask yourself, parents and even coaches, what are the benefits to this tackle tournament? Meaning, what is the positive? What do you get out of it, and the reasons why you should do it? All right. I cannot answer one. Me being a football player almost my entire life and coaching football at different levels, and also being now on the trainers on the sports performance spectrum, I just don't see any benefit for it. Some people might say it's you play for a championship, you get recognition, but what does that do? I won't remember that down the line. My question is, do you get recruited from colleges with these tournaments? And I can pretty much assure you, you don't. So now the second question is, you got to ask yourself, what are the negative, effects to these? And I can give you two right off the bat: injury and concussion. That's already a thing with football, tackle football. This is the modern gladiators of today. That's why you see in the NFL, there's so many rules being dropped. You got the kickoff changed. You got all these, rules when tackling. You can't target. You can't lead with your head. You can't hit a quarterback a certain way. I think I've heard there's a new rule trying to be implemented where you can't hit the hips. I think it's already a rule in the NFL. They just haven't implemented it this past season. So, they're putting all these rules in, which is kind of overboard, in my opinion, just coming from the old school. You look, guys played with leather helmets back in the day, and they survived. So I get it, though. We're trying to keep the athlete safe, but just sharing that alone, why would we put our kids in a situation where they're playing in tackle football tournaments? Why would we put them in a situation where they're playing in more than one tackle football season in a year span? That it doesn't happen in high school. Well, some in high school, they're going back down and playing in youth tackle football organizations, which that's ridiculous. But in high school, college, and pro, you only play in the fall, and then you get right to your off season or play another sport, and then you're training and getting better for the next fall season. So let me tell you something. Like, if you haven't had numbers, like, just go look it up. You can find it out yourself, right? The percentage of concussions in football, tackle football, varies by age and level of play, but is high overall. So we look at youth studies. 5% of youth football players from ages 5 to 14 sustain a concussion each season. High school, 20% of high school football players experience brain trauma each season, and football is responsible for over 60% of concussions in high school sports. College, less than half of football players in college report having or diagnosed concussion in their career. NFL football players in the year 2023, 219 concussions were reported between preseason, regular season, and practices. Now, imagine this. This is only, the studies found, or the percentages found based on those that were reported. You know how many concussions I had that I didn't say anything about? I remember being in a high school football game, playing wide receiver. I caught the ball. quick 5 yard out, got tackled on the sideline. My head hit the ground. All I remember is standing up and seeing colors, right? It looked like the rainbow. I didn't even know where I was. When I went back and I watched the film the next day or that night, I literally blanked out from the time I got up and I saw colors. I went back to the huddle. I even lined up in my position at the wide receiver. I ran through an entire play and basically I woke up. It was crazy, but I didn't report it. I just kept playing. So just imagine how many times that is happening to your youth athletes and they're not reporting it, or they might be reporting it and we're saying, hey, tough it up, get back in. So these statistics I'm sharing because these are the reasons why I'm so against, these tackle football tournaments and playing more than one season other than one season a year. Football has the highest rate of concussions because of the number of player-to-player collisions, especially during tackling. Linebackers and running backs especially have the highest percentage of concussions. The percentage of football players who get injured varies by the type of football and the age of players, but can range from 17.8% to 81%. All right. So if you look at college football, 50%, almost 51% of players sustain at least one injury a season. University football, 81% of players sustain at least one injury in a season. High school football players, the injury rates from 11% to 13% in injuries per 1,000 athletes' exposures during competition. Youth football, 36.5% of players report injuries, with an overall injury rate of 17% per 1,000 athlete exposures. So this is based on just one season. We're not talking about players reported playing 2 seasons a year or playing in these tackle tournaments. Factors that can affect injury rates. Age, the injury rate increases with age. So like I said, with the younger ones, they might get injured, but you won't know it because they're so energetic that they'll just continue doing what they're doing. You can't get away with that when you get to the high school, college, NFL level. Playing experience, the risk of injury and concussion varies by playing experience. Body part, the most commonly injured body parts are the head, ankle, and knee. Like those are most common that I see and where I help rehab players once they get out of, doing their recovery specialist and they come to us to build them back up, getting stronger faster. The most common injuries are sprains, strains, and concussions. Practice versus competition, the injury rate is higher during competition than in practices. So right there, right? It's not going to happen more in the practices, it's going to happen more in the games. So the more games you have them playing, the more likely they can get injured. And when I talk about injuries, like concussions, one, can be devastating. Ankle injuries, I've dealt with that my entire career. I know what that's like. Knee injuries, that can set you back big time. So, and it can actually set you back for a lifetime, or at a crucial time where, say it's your sophomore, junior year, where you're looking to get recruited and you get injured and you're out for these seasons. Not a good situation, especially with all these NIL deals and everything that's going on. You can't risk that. All right. Factors that can reduce injury rates. Here are things that can reduce them. Number one, watch what type of shoes you're wearing. That could be the reason, like you have longer cleats that allows you to roll your ankle or things of that nature. Preseason conditioning. What are you doing in the off season? Basically is what that is. What are you doing in the off season to prevent injury for the in season? What are you doing during the season in your training in the in season strength training program to prevent injury? Improve fitness, of course, your proper equipment, and make sure you're getting proper coaching. So again, I'm just trying to give you all the knowledge I can, where I'm not just saying this stuff. Like, I really don't get why these tackle tournaments became so popular, but they have. All right. So college football athletes have higher injury rates than high school football athletes. 47% of high school injuries and 61% of college injuries occurred during practice. So even in practice, right? So it's not just games. Games do have a higher percentage of getting injuries, but it is happening in practices as well. So the more you playing, you're not necessarily getting better, you're just setting yourself up for injury, concussion, knee sprains, ankle sprains. So I mean, you guys get the gist of what I'm saying. Part of injury preventing injury is not doing the off-season aspect, but it's watching how much you're playing as well. So I hope that sheds some light on this. You know, I'm not trying to be negative to the coaches and those who participate in, or the organizers who create these tackle tournaments. It's just that I just don't see the benefits of it. You know, coming from my background as a player, as a coach, as a sports performance trainer for 20 plus years now, you know, I always look at the weighing of the pros and the cons, and I just don't see any weight on the pros. So with that said, guys, you know, our website is available for you to look at the programs that we offer, www.p1hawaii.com. Give us a call if you want to talk, or come down and do a tour of our facility and maybe even do a free consultation to see how we can help you. Our number is 808-800-7150. With that said, you guys take care, be blessed. Peace.